Coming up on today's episode of The Angle Show, we got some very big news surrounding a potential top star leaving the company, also a potential return, a new signing, and some injury news. If you guys want more videos like this, go ahead and click subscribe. All right, guys, so we're going to kick things off with some injury news because it appears that Roman Reigns has been injured at SummerSlam, and we don't exactly know to the extent of the injury, how severe is the injury. But of course, in pro wrestling, there appears to be a wrestling injury bug because many of the top stars are out. Keep in mind, Bryan Danielson, Jamie Hayter are two of the bigger names in AEW that are injured. And in WWE, we now know Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are both injured. Roman Reigns joins the list. I thought this would be a very interesting conversation to have. I want to hear what you guys have to think and say in the comment section down below, because with Roman Reigns being injured, if it is in fact severe, you got to wonder, would WWE force Roman Reigns to vacate the belt? And I think this is a very interesting conversation to be had because technically speaking, Roman Reigns isn't necessarily needed on television. Obviously, as a champion, he does have part-time defenses. He's not constantly on TV. In fact, I would say even Roman Reigns being off of television for a little bit isn't even a bad thing. If I'm WWE, if I'm Triple H, if I'm Vince, if I'm everybody in the back planning and working things out, I look at Austin Theory as somebody, we know he's going to be defending his belt against Santos Escobar. If Santos wins the belt, perhaps this is a good time for WWE to elevate that U.S. title. The IC title is doing a fantastic job on Raw. The U.S. title could definitely be improved. If Roman is out, I wouldn't necessarily have him vacate the belt, but I would be making sure in the time being that the U.S. title is main eventing, is feeling like a big deal. And the best way to do that is by putting up big marquee matches. It just sucks when you see top guys going out. It sucks when you see injuries in general. But obviously there is a little bit more of a bigger impact when it is the tribal chief, because if it is a severe injury, if he is kept off of television for a while, it could be problematic. But that's why even when a problem arises, WWE's solution is to make sure that other wrestlers are being booked properly, so that way this isn't necessarily a big deal. Guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about Nick Aldis. We've talked about Nick Aldis potentially coming into the WWE. Yesterday on WWE Raw, he was in fact backstage, according to PW Insider and multiple other sources. The belief is that WWE will be bringing in Nick Aldis for a couple of different events to see how he works out as a producer in the company. Now, what is WWE's plan with Nick Aldis? Honestly, I don't know. I think this guy can still go. I think he's still a great talent. But ultimately, it's going to be an interesting thing to see how this plays out. You got to look at Nick Aldis as a longtime veteran who is definitely going to contribute greatly to WWE's product from behind the scenes. But as a fan of pro wrestling, as a fan of Nick Aldis, seeing what he did in NWA, seeing what he did in TNA and in Impact. I mean, this guy definitely looks like he can be a top guy in the WWE. But of course, WWE has a very weird way of pushing people, and there's a lot of people who are in line for a push. Not everybody could be pushed. It kind of makes sense as to why Nick Aldis wouldn't be wrestling on WWE television. But of course, just being able to watch this guy's journey, being able to see everything he's accomplished outside of WWE, it would be really cool for them at some point to have him wrestle. And here's the thing, right? WWE has the Royal Rumble. If Nick Aldis is brought in as a full-time producer for the company, which again, it's going to be very valuable for them to do so, but if they bring him in that type of role, I would at least, at the very bare minimum, would like to see them bring him in for the Royal Rumble as a surprise entrant, right? Just let us get to witness that. Let us see him in a WWE ring. That'd be really cool. And look, here's the thing. If WWE wants, they have NXT, they can always do some sort of special program if you want to put him in the ring. But it is definitely interesting to see that Nick Aldis could be joining WWE full-time, despite not actually wrestling for WWE full-time. It's not necessarily how I envisioned it, because I always thought he could have been doing something on a championship caliber level. Oh, my friends, we got to talk about Nia Jax potentially returning to the company. This had a lot of people talking Monday. I want to wait a little bit and really collect my thoughts on this, because I feel like Nia Jax is somebody who sparks a lot of conversation on social media. Yesterday, a report came out from PW Insider saying that there has been talk about Jax potentially returning soon to the company. There was no word on whether or not she was at WWE's Raw, but sources within the company have heard her name mentioned as of late. Keep in mind, Nia Jax was released by the WWE in 2021. We heard rumors and reports that came out that Nia Jax could be returning to the WWE after she returned at the Royal Rumble. And then it appeared that WWE never actually brought her in. And I really don't know what Nia Jax could do in the WWE right now, right? And I think that's why I had a very hard time talking about this immediately, giving you guys my reaction. WWE has a very solid women's roster. I don't know if they necessarily need more depth in the roster, but I'm never opposed to somebody coming in and getting paid, right? Whether it's WWE, AEW, or whatever it may be, I've never been opposed to the idea as somebody for somebody to go into a company and get paid. Now, how will WWE present Nia Jax differently? What are they going to do differently with Nia Jax when she returns to the company? Now, obviously, a lot of people are going to leave comments about her wrestling ability or promo ability or this or that, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, if WWE brings in Nia Jax, forces her down your throat as, you know, a 20-time champion or something like that, then obviously you're going to get sick and tired of it and you're going to be upset about it. But if WWE brings in Nia Jax, maybe she gets in one reign or whatever, but if she's there and she's elevating other people and working with other people and making other people look good, you know, there's people on the roster. There's the Chelsea Greens, there's the Shotzi's, you know, like there's Candice LeRae, like there's people who could benefit from having some pretty good wins. If Nia Jax is there, and obviously she's going to have to win a couple of feuds and she's going to have to be dominant at certain parts. But if the long-term game is Nia Jax coming in and essentially elevating other people, that's a good thing. And I could totally support that. I think Nia Jax was actually pretty good, honestly. Like I know people hate when I say that, but she is not as bad as a lot of people made out to be. And I think a lot of that, really, people just hated her booking and then they kind of take personal shots at her for that. But if you look at WWE's booking, that's just the way it is. That's wrestling, right? There's people like they have their thing and what makes them unique, and WWE tries to, you know, like Nia Jax was on this dominant run and WWE tried to take advantage of that, right? And it worked out to a certain extent. So very interesting to see what's going to happen here. Guys, I want to turn our attention to Brock Lesnar. It looks like Brock Lesnar will in fact be gone from WWE for a little bit. We don't even know when, honestly. A lot of people, we talked about this the other day, but a lot of people were thinking, okay, he's going to be back by Fastlane or Payback or whatever it may be. But now Meltzer's coming out and he says that Brock Lesnar is going to be gone for a while. Brock was originally advertised for one of the pay-per-views later this year, but now he's not going to be in it. He's going to be gone for a while. No time soon, right? He's not going to be back for a while. And honestly, look, WWE, they accomplished a lot with Brock Lesnar. I love his run. There's a lot of great that came from it. If I'm the WWE and I'm pushing Gunther and I really, really want to push Gunther to the top, I look at Gunther and Brock Lesnar as a massive feud. After Brock Lesnar acknowledging Cody and all of that stuff, I feel like Brock Lesnar will, in fact, come back as a babyface. I save Brock Lesnar for the Royal Rumble. This guy is definitely great to watch. He's enjoyable to watch. He's doing a great job. But when Brock Lesnar is constantly there, it feels overexposed. The less we see him, the more special it feels. So if WWE wants to build Gunther and Brock Lesnar, that could be a really good idea. If they want somebody to take the IC title away from Gunther, that could be Brock Lesnar. If you want to have Brock and Gunther feud for the Undisputed Championship or World Heavyweight Championship or whatever championships, like they can do these things. That's the beauty of it. If you want to have Brock Lesnar go against Braun Breaker, there's things you could do there. You got to keep in mind, Brock Lesnar is a free agent. And I know this sounds really crazy, and I know a lot of people really might not like this, and I understand that a lot of people will think this is silly, but I would never be against the idea if WWE wanted to bring up an NXT talent, I would bring them up at WrestleMania for a match with Brock. Right? If Brock doesn't have too much left in the tank, if he's not going to be staying around long term, I look at Braun Breaker as a guy, Braun Breaker versus Brock. I don't know. Like there's just something there that would be a massive, you know, pay-per-view marquee match at WrestleMania. So I look at even maybe trying to get Brock Lesnar involved with some sort of feud on NXT that even brings Brock Lesnar to NXT for one episode. I know it sounds crazy, but at the end of the day, we're all about making stars and progressing the future of the industry. Brock Lesnar is going to be leaving WWE for a bit. He'll come back. That's great. But when he comes back, is he just going to go up against another veteran, or can we utilize him in a way to put over somebody? Gunther is a great example. I think Braun Breaker is a good example, and there's definitely some others out there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching The Angle Show, and I'll see you next time.